in the Atlay Mountains of Mongolia, where the average elevation is 7,000 feet. The average elevation in all of Mongolia is about 5,000 feet, but peaks at 14,350 feet. Mongolia is known to the world as a country of blue sky. The climate of Mongolia consists of long, cold, dry winters. The entire region receives less than 4 inches of precipitation annually. In translation from Turkic languages, the word Atlay means golden mountains, and no one who has experienced the splendor of these mountains at sundown would ever doubt the truth of this name. Summer is the warmest season in Mongolia, with an average of 56 degrees in July. The amount of precipitation is higher in the summer month than in any other month. This is when the crops grow and the livestock gain more weight. Autumn is a transition from hot and wet to cold and dry. The livestock is fat and ready for the cold winter months. There are many long sunny days in the fall season. In Mongolia, winter is the most severe of all the seasons. It is the coldest and longest season, lasting 110 days. All of the rivers, lakes, streams, and ponds freeze up. It snows, but not heavily. January is the coldest month, with an average temperature of 0 degrees. The yurt, or better known as a ger, in Mongolia, is an excellent response to this cold, dry climate. Let's find out why. For over 1,000 years, Mongolians have used this type of dwelling.
Yurts are one of the oldest indigenous forms of architecture, carrying the energy of tribal nomads crossing the ancient steppes from millennia past. No one knows exactly where the first yurt came from or how it was invented. Mongolian shepherds have used the yurt for thousands of years, during what time little or no changes has been made to these simple but highly unique yurt structures. Today, we are taking you on a travel to Mongolia, where we will try to figure out what it is that makes these people and their dwellings so special. But first, what is a yurt? Most yurts are portable, tent-like structures. They have circular walls and a cone-shaped roof, supported by rafters that meet in a center ring. The outer fabric shell can be made of felted wool, coated canvas, or a modern architectural fabric. There are 5 types of yurts, where we will discuss and compare 2 of them: the ancient Mongolian yurt, also called the air, and the more modern fabric yurt. Life in the yurt. The Central Asian nomads live with deep-rooted simplicity. They carry with them only what they need. Waste is unthinkable. Everything has its place within the sacred space encapsulated by the circle, which remains a symbol of all things. The internal floor plan of the Mongolian yurt is based on the 4 directions. The door always open to the south, and the sacred space is located to the north. The western half of the yurt is the men's side, and the eastern half is the women's. The fire is the sacred center around which everything encircles. The yurt is the center of the universe, the balance between masculine and feminine, and the buffer between the underworld and the heavens above the smoke hole. One moves around the yurt in a clockwise direction, following the path of the sun.
Welcome to my yurt. Come on in and see how it keeps out the weather.
Traditional and modern yurts. To build a yurt of any kind, it must begin with the lattice framework. In a traditional yurt, the lattice is constructed out of willow rods and connected at the intersections with raw hide strips. A band of rope or of woven cloth are wrapped around the outside to keep the framework in compression. Now, a wire cable is woven within the lattice work to accomplish the same idea. Today, the lattice consists of timber bolted together at the cross joints. A traditional door frame has a high threshold to help keep out the blowing snow and curious animals. Modern yurts can adapt to almost any kind of door, depending on the climate where it resides. Traditionally, all parts of the yurt can be made by the owner, but the roof wheel takes great carpentry skills. The struts are bent to create the rounded roof and then intricately painted to add decoration and protection from bugs. Modern yurts still require great carpentry skills, but the methods have become easier. The ring and poles are not often decorated. In the traditional yurt, the smoke hole is removable felt. It helps to keep the weather out and allows the smoke to escape. Today, a domed skylight is installed and is a more permanent fixture, although it can be opened for ventilation. Felts were used in traditional yurts as the exterior protection. More felt can be added in the winter months and can also be rolled up to provide airflow. In modern yurts, the wall covering now has multiple layers to protect the inside. There can be insulated panels, housing membranes, and weatherproof layers on the outside.
Traditional yurts are set up in radial communities that protect from the wind. Contemporary yurts are usually set up singularly, which makes them much more susceptible. Modern materials have allowed for higher insulation values and greater spans at the expense of a much higher embodied energy. The use of steel reduces the easy transport of the yurt and increases the time needed to set up. The traditional cast iron stove has been replaced by a sheet metal stove, which does not continue to radiate heat after the fire is gone, and thus is much less efficient. The traditional yurt is a functional vernacular response to a cold, windy climate, while the contemporary yurt is simply a structure designed to evoke a feeling of sustainability in people.
A yurt is not just a shelter. It's a unique structure that encourages us to follow in the footsteps of nomadic cultures and live with simplicity, in balance, and in harmony with the planet. Why change an ancient design that has worked so well for thousands of years? In conclusion, the Central Asian nomads live extremely close to nature and have done so for thousands of years. The yurt stays with them as their favorite form of shelter. Yurts use the earth's resources wisely and usually leave a small footprint. They're affordable and accessible. In today's search for better ways to live, we need to incorporate the ideas of the yurt into our designs. If we are to discover, design, and create healthy ways for humans to interact with their homes, we must take cultural blending at heart and glean what wisdom we can from all of our neighbors on this planet.